Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Toon Review YouTube channel for tonight's match review, of course, of the defeat last night. Stato is back. He is back, all freshly red-faced from his break and ready to go, and no doubt ready to get stuck in to some, interesting points of view tonight on the show. But as usual, please do give it the thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. And of course, if you're new, do come and subscribe to us. It is free to do so. And don't forget to hit the bell, which will let you know when we upload any videos or we schedule the live shows. You can become a member of the Toon Review and support us that way by hitting the join button just underneath the three of us. And of course, you can do the super chat version, which will hit that $sign at the bottom of the live comments, and that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. Anthony has said last night was probably the most disappointed I've been all season. I felt so flat after that. Billy, I woke up this morning still deadly flat.
I still am now, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm just no one for me whatsoever. I'm just depressed at such a terrible performance on the game that mattered most to us.
Yeah,
I mean, we all expected to win, and we were shite, as Julie says there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know whether you've seen the interview with Anthony Gordon, Alex, straight after the game last night. Clearly frustrated with VAR, but also clearly frustrated with the match itself, that we didn't take anything out of the game. And, the state of his Achilles was horrible. I mean, I did that show earlier on today, the video about what Anthony Gordon said, played the interview out on the video as well. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this now. It's mental. And listen, I'm not starting off this show talking about VAR and saying that penalty incident cost us the game, because quite frankly, we were rotten. But it's just becoming so stupid now, Alex.
Yeah, it's frustrating because in a game like that, it's fine margins and it tips the balance of the game. It was deserved. It was a deserved penalty. The fact that Wayne Rooney and Andy Cole and who else was there, Roy Keane, all said it was a penalty, and are all Man United fans generally. I know Andy Cole played for both, but he's a Man United fan, let's be honest. They all said it was a pen. It can't happen. It can't happen. And you saw how gutted he was at the end. And when you've got people who are delivering such... Look, Anthony Gordon was on the overlap a few weeks ago. He's just gotten into the England squad. He's talked about his growth. He reads mindfulness books. He's trying to grow as a person. He's trying to be the top professional. When you get somebody of that ilk who is just loses it in an interview, it's madness. It's madness. There are reasons for it, and it's not necessarily that it's VAR's fault. It's just the officiating on the whole. It wasn't the reason why we lost, but it definitely didn't help, because I think we lost down to 100%. 100% of it was down to mentality, whether that's confidence, courage, focus, and all of the above. So I put this last night out on Twitter, and I don't know if you guys agree with me. It reminded me of that loss early at Liverpool. We were the better side. We should have cleaned up shop. We were done. It was our 3 points. We were the better team. You could clearly see visibly we were the better team, better, energetic, technically, and we bottled it. It was a bottle performance. Unfortunately, we were the better team.
We bottled it. I thought we were better team second half.
I thought we were a better team in first.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think we started the game very, very well. And we looked hungry. But again, as soon as Manchester United had their first attack of the game, we kind of just sort of... I mean, look, both teams were going for it, but we just didn't have that killer instinct. And the thing is, we have to look at the team selection, Billy. We did that last night on Matchday Live. We were quite astounded Nick Pope wasn't back in between the sticks. And I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans today asking that question as to why Nick Pope didn't play. And of course, the Joe Linton issue. And look, people will say, he's bringing him back slowly from injury. Maybe he's learned the lesson. Yet he throws Trippier straight in after 90 seconds of football, after being out a lot longer. And I did answer a comment earlier on that said about the Fabian Schär situation, saying, what was he supposed to do with him? But he's only been out a couple of weeks, nowhere near the length that Trippier's been out. So he could have played Kraft right back and Schär could have started the game. I think the team selection. I think Eddie bottled it with team selection because again he's played players that he's got too much loyalty to. And
well, I disagree with that a little bit. I think the back four, the defensive changes. Cher's obviously not ready to play 90 minutes, and Eddie Howe's listened to that. Livramento's injured, so he had to play. He had to start that back four. I don't blame him for the back
I'm not
four.
so sure, Alex. I'm not sure.
No, he's going to go based on advice. He's not going to play Fabian Cher 90 minutes after just coming back from a hamstring.
Yeah, but if you listen to Eddie on the overlap, Alex, he doesn't sometimes know what goes on in the medical department. So we don't know if he was told about Fabian Cher. Fabian Cher said in his own interview that he was fit. So this is the problem that's going on at the club at the minute.
The Pope Dubravka thing.
Well, I know how you feel on that.
But that you can put down to loyalty.
Blind loyalty.
I agree with that. The Dubravka versus Pope one, I completely agree. However, the back four, because of Livramento's injury, potentially Trippier is way closer to full fitness than Cher is, and he doesn't want to play 90 minutes for Cher with a hamstring. I get that one. I think
Trippier did not look fit at all. If you asked me last night, he looked way off pace. Way off.
2 points. Martin Dubravka, anytime there's a shot on target, you think it's going to go in. And if Nick Pope had played last night, I think he saves the first one, and I think he saves the third one.
Yeah, I've had a look at them again today. I totally agree. I think we're all agreed on that. But
Kieran Trippier, 20 minutes into the game, couldn't get back to Garnacho, allowed him to walk past him, and
he just stopped though, didn't he?
It was wincing. It was wincing. And why the manager isn't seeing that, or people aren't reporting over to the Trippier's not right, and he's not seeing it, I don't know. There's just no communication in that whole team through the players.
I just think he could have started Cher, and if he wasn't fit enough to play 90 minutes, and take him off. At Eddie.
Can I just reference something? This is about the summer coming up. So many people are turning their noses up at free transfers in Tosin and Lloyd Kelly. This is precisely why we need people like that.
Absolutely.
We can't have Paul Dummett as a backup. If we had slightly better than Paul Dummett, we could use them. Paul Dummett's not good enough to influence a game of this magnitude. He had a good game against City in the Cup way back when. That's one good performance in 2.5 years. But we need somebody like Lloyd Kelly or Tosin to come in who can be good enough so that the quality drop-off is not so severe. Because at the moment, we've got people, we would rather play people who are 60, 70% fit than Dummett is presumably 100% fit, trains every day. And he can't get a game ahead of somebody who's 60% fit. It means you're not good enough, shouldn't be in the squad, shouldn't have had your contract extended last year, should have gone. And and Gillespie's staying as well. Get them out. Get some people in that are going to be at least good enough for minutes. They don't have to be good enough to play against Champions League opposition. They have to be good enough to play a bit and against some of the teams in the league. We need more squad depth.
Yeah. The thing is, I've heard a lot of people, a lot of Bournemouth fans today, they've sent me messages and stuff on social media as well as other Newcastle fans saying that they are looking at the same Eddie Howe about loyalty to some players and the way it went sort of downhill for him at Bournemouth. I mean, look, I'll reiterate a million times. People keep saying, the Eddie Howe outbreak. I don't want Eddie out. I want him to win something. But I think the pressure's going to be on him. I agree with Billy. If we don't get into Europe next season, I think a conversation's going to be had because 11 defeats away from home this season. And for whatever reason, right, just park the reasons for now with injuries, etc. We've lost 11 games away from home. We don't turn up for the big games. We just... I don't know whether that's a big mentality at the club or not about these big games.
But the issue is here, we won't lose Eddie Howe. We won't. He'll get another season.
I think he will. Yeah.
But that's not the problem. The problem is we will lose Bruno, which is the problem.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, this is what we've all been trying to say to people is when we do these shows and we're talking about players leaving. If we don't get into Europe and a big club comes in for Bruno and pays that release clause, Bruno's going to be in two minds now is to think, well, I'm not going to get European football again. I want to be a winner. I want medals. That's what footballers want.
He's 26.
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword as well. Can we attract the players the quality that we need to play alongside Bruno? We've already got 2 or 3 of them. How many are staying? we've got to attract players as well. We've got to improve the squad, as Sato rightly said. How do we improve it sufficiently enough and show enough ambition with the financial restrictions, with no European football? It's not going to be easy.
Well, Hartwell, obviously, he's an Eddie out. I know for a fact he is. He says, and who instills a winning mentality?
Again, some of the leaders on the pitch.
It's got to be, sorry, but it's also the manager and the leaders. They've all got to take responsibility.
Agreed, but there are certain players that should be starting that game that are about fit now. It should be. Joe Linton has to start the last game. But if you start players like Joe Linton, we need people. And Tonali, to be fair, players like that, I appreciate, obviously, he can't play right now. But if you remember Tonali back in the day, even though he's quite a quiet character, he would never give up on a ball, ever. He would wrestle 5 players to get out of a situation. Joe Linton does the same. And Fabian Schär, when he's not fanning about with it, you need people, again, Trippier when he's fit, he's rusty as hell at the moment, he's not fully fit at all, but you need your leaders in the squad, and we don't have that mentality at the moment, not even close. We managed to learn a bit more through the hardships of the Champions League campaign. We were good at the start of the season, but we've got, and again, Sean, I'm sorry, Sean, mate, I know you're injured, but Christ.
Well, not according to, I mean, we don't know what's going on with Sean.
But we needed at least an hour of Joe Linton last night.
That's what I'm saying. Surely you start in these big game situations, right? The huge games. I said to Billy last night, Alex, we've got 2 games left of the season, right? Now, we all know, right? I certainly do as an ex-sportsman playing ice hockey, that by the time the sort of playoffs came at the end of the season, you're all banged up. You've all got knocks, you've all got bruises, and but you get through it because it's a winning mentality that you have to have. And we've got 2 games left. Last night was a huge game. Then surely you put Joe Linton's had 2 20-minute cameo roles, if you like, to get ready for this game. That's what we thought they were about. And surely you have to play him. And then if he tires after an hour, fair enough. But we could be winning the game by then by playing your best team.
Yeah,
it's reactive instead of being proactive. It's reactive. We spoke about this before. It's no point. We're always seem to be chasing the game when he makes these substitutions. It's baffling. A couple of super chats. Keith Truscott, thanks for yours. He sent in 2. Devil's Advocate. Would it be so bad if Bruno did go? No. And another super chat. We'll come on to that, Alex. Another super chat. He says we lost that game because we didn't put away our chances. Manshite put theirs away. Simple. And Jens, thank you for yours. I am still fuming after that embarrassment. Go on, Alex.
Sorry, I've got 2 weeks worth of nonsense to talk about. So, Bruno going? Absolutely not. We of course we would be able to rebuild, and we probably could end up being better overall as a starting 11 and as a squad. Of course we can. We can bring in a couple of midfielders to combat that. We've still got Tonali, Joe Linton. We could bring in players in other positions. We could strengthen. We could be better. Of course we could. I guarantee we would. But that's not the point. Bruno's not like all the other players. You don't get that. You don't get that guy very often. Whatever that is, he's moved to the region. He loves the region. He loves the people. He understands football, the people. He's got the passion. He's basically made himself a Geordie. His family's a Geordies. It's not just about that. He understands he's a winner. It hurts him. He's the only player that just strops when we lose. He hates it. He absolutely hates losing. He wants to win everything, every single game. Every single game he wants to win it. And that is how you don't become a Tottenham. That is how we become a City. That is how we become ourselves and winners. You need players that hate losing. And of course, we can replace Bruno, and we can probably be a better team if we rebuild properly, which I have faith we will do that. It's not about that, though. It's about he's a unicorn. He's a once in a generation. Who is there in the Brazil midfielders right now that's like Bruno, that's as likable? You know, the samba dancing, can play as a 6, play as an 8, lovely family, smiley guy, passionate, top winner. None of them are like that in the Brazil midfield at the moment. Yeah. He is a once in a generation kind of. Okay, he's missing bits in his game to be a Ballon d'Or winner. He's never going to win a Ballon d'Or because he's not got top end acceleration. Yeah. He's missing a lot of things that would get him to that, world 11. But he's not that far off. He's in the same conversation. He's not, but and we could rebuild without him. I'd just rather not. It'd be nice to keep him.
I don't want to lose Bruno, absolutely.
Definitely not.
Anyway, the first poll of the evening, before we do the man of the match one, I'm really interested to see where the viewers are with this. The question is Eddie the man to take us forward? Obviously, you've got yes, no, or on the fence. That is the poll up now before we go on to man of the match. So we'll keep that up for about 20 minutes or so. So is Eddie the man to take us forward? Yes, no, or on the fence? I'm really intrigued to find out where the viewers are with this now. Nigel says, what if Doobs got injured on 5 minutes? Pope would have had to play 85 minutes, so he must have been fit. I don't understand the goalkeeper one, Billy. I mean, the thing is, if Pope isn't fit to play, then surely Karius has got to be on the bench. Why is Nick Pope even on the bench? It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Absolutely not. Nick Pope's our number one goalkeeper. Once he's fit enough to sit on the bench, he should be in between the sticks. He should have played at least Saturday, and he definitely should have played last night. I think he saved 2 of them goals, as I say, and I think that selection alone probably cost us 3 points.
Yeah. Trolls, thank you for your super chat. How has made the same mistakes with the selections too many times? I'm done with him. What I will say on Dubravka is there was a couple of things in the first half. One where the ball was whipped in and he punched it. Now, that was a quality goalkeeper would save that. Just get it into his chest and hold on to it.
The fact he punched it, he went about 2 yards.
It went about it went to the edge of the box, didn't it? But then he makes a save. Now, I don't know whether anyone else has picked this up, but he saved it down to his right, yet he pushed the ball to the left-hand side. And Billy, like you said on commentary,
straight across goal, yeah.
If a Man United shirt had been there, it was a tap-in. It just doesn't install any confidence in anybody. And I think Pope will play on Sunday. I'm going to say it again. I'm really convinced Nick Pope plays on Sunday. It's still not over yet. We've got to win the game and then see what happens. But it's a really, really complicated thing for me because I just don't understand where he was going with that team selection last night. I understand where Alex is coming from. I think he should have started Shea and put Kraft right back. And if Shea tied the game, just the same as Joe Linton. I think we looked much better when the substitutes came on. It was like we were that spell in the second half. We were passing around nicely, and we looked a threat. Something was off with Isak again. I've no idea. Eddie said before the game that he was 100% fit. I don't think he was, Alex. He just did not look fit last night again.
Who, Trippier?
No, Isak.
Oh, Isak. Well, no, he's unwell. He's clearly on. You can see that. And it's not, again, that's not Eddie Howe's fault. That's both your strikers have somehow got an illness at the same time. You've got to play someone. And well done to Isak for shaking it off and trying to play. He's played 2 games ill. Fair enough to the lad. He tried his best. We all know what it's like when you're ill. Trying to be a professional athlete when you're ill has got to be considerably harder than going into an office and sitting on a chair or going and stacking a shelf. When you're trying to do sprints against I was going to say the best in the world then. Okay, against a mediocre team in the Premier League. I don't blame Isak. He's got to play him. What else is he going to do? Was he going to play Dylan Stevenson up front? Or what's he going to do? Like, he's got to play Isak.
Well, he could have played Gordon through the middle. Barnes on the left. Look, I'm not saying that. I agree. I think he said Isak was fit. We've got to take Eddie on his word. But there's no way, knowing how well Isak can play, the games against
he got
Brighton
the ball in a couple
Man
of
United,
dangerous areas, but they just packed the box very quickly, and he wasn't quite sharp enough to make the use of the space quick enough because he wasn't quite there.
Look, a fully switched on Isak would have slammed that in the back of the net last night when he went 1-on-1 with the Rambat. That 3-on-1 is so frustrating. Sean should have scored when he was 1-on-1 with Onana, hit it straight at him. Really, it could have been what was, but it never is with Newcastle, is it? We'll always sit here and say, what could have been. And it was like that in the Carabao Cup final. It was like that when we lost 12 points at the top of the league. It just seems like when we come to these big games, when it's really crucial we get the wins, and to be fair, it's normally against Manchester United that we have these games, we never come through them. And it's so annoying. We've been gifted 5 Toon Review memberships by Keith Truscott. Thank you, Keith. Very, very kind, my man. Peter Beardford has been a member for 13 months now. He says, this is still a learning curve for Eddie. It's a different kind of task fighting at the top end of the table.
Well,
I don't subscribe to learning curves anymore. But Laura does have a question for you, Alex. She says, I am desperate to ask Stato a question regarding Longstaff. Does his stats match his performance on the pitch? Because he seems awful, but maybe his stats are good. I don't think they are.
No, they were both bad. I think I checked this yesterday, unless they've changed considerably.
I think you put them up a couple of weeks ago as well, Alex, to be honest. And
we're on about his overall stuff. I mean, if you want, we can go through some graphics in a bit if you want. We'll put it before we do the player ratings. I can put stuff up for 2 minutes and we can have a look at it because it's to say the least, it's frustrating. I mean, we outperformed them in every metric. 2.37 xG to 1.45 should have been over 3 xG because we should have had a pen. So it's, again, if you play that game 10 times, we win that game 3-1, 2-1. It was just one of those nights with a combination of mentality, missed chances, goal line clearances, pens not given, wrong goalkeeper and goal. It was everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. It was six big chances to 2.
That's exactly what we're saying, Alex.
And it's
always is the case with Newcastle United in these big games. It just... We're just so used to it now as Newcastle fans. And I think, but last night, I don't know what it is. It just seemed to hurt more because this is, and I'll say it again, for me, Harple, that's a load of bollocks. For me, right, that is the worst Manchester United side in Premier League history. I'm under no illusion about that. They are terrible. And last night was our best chance to go to Old Trafford, put them to the sword and finish above them in the league table.
These stats are overrated. Only come out when we lose, don't they? Every Premier League team uses them.
They use them every day in training. So
that's not always working. Yeah, well, they don't always work in a knockout competition because there's a lot of luck goes into that. But over the course of a campaign, a season, you recruit and you play based on statistics, data, chances, what works better. It's what everybody does. And then you sprinkle in flavorings of good personality, good attitude, good work ethic, leadership, along with the statistics. They all do it. So this isn't an opinion. You're wrong. Because the people that don't do it are out of football now because they're dinosaurs. So every single Premier League team they have a team of analysts and they all do it. So either they're all wrong and you're right, or two of you were chatting absolute nonsense.
Niall says, Stato, Lewis Hall has been available all season and only got in due to Sharon Botman's injury. I will interject there because Lewis Hall has come out and said that he himself wasn't ready and he understands that now. Yeah, he's actually come out and said that he's taken a little time to adjust to everything. And he's found it a little bit difficult, but he's up to speed now. And that's why Eddie Howe didn't play him. And quite frankly, I think that's brilliant of Lewis Hall to come out and say that and just support his manager as well. It gives us a better understanding, Billy, of what's gone on.
Yeah, he spoke to Newcastle World, and I said yesterday it was Shields. Yeah, it wasn't. It was Newcastle World, Charlie Bennett, Newcastle World, friend of the channel. Yeah, he spoke to. Basically saying that he wasn't up to Howe fitness and Howe style. So he had to kind of learn how to be a left back under Eddie Howe and how to be an athlete under Eddie Howe. Yeah. And it's taken him longer than it should have done. I still think he should have played a little bit before that, though. I mean, Dan Burn was getting week in, week out. And I think a proper left back would have probably done better than Dan Burn. But still, he's come back in. He's obviously learned now because once again, he was the best player on the pitch last night, wasn't he?
Jens, thank you for another super chat. VAR yesterday, shambolic, clear penalty all day long. Well, yeah. I mean, look.
Well, if it had been, put it this way, if it had been the other end, it'd have been given. That's all I'll say.
Oh, of course it would. I think we all know that.
And the handball that they didn't even look at. There was a handball that they didn't even look at.
Yeah, which was very interesting because I still don't think that was right down by his side either. No, it wasn't. I think his arm was a little bit out. But look, at the end of the day, we lost the game. And once again, Newcastle United look like they're going to be bridesmaids. Sunday, I know we can still do it. And obviously depending on the cup final. But listen, it's a big ask because Brentford, I said this a couple of nights ago, with what happened to the manager's, I think it was his mother or his father passing away. They scored a 90th minute goal dedicated to him and also came out and said that, we will give it our all for the final home game of the season. And so they're not treating this as a dead rubber, Brentford. They are going for it. So they also, some of them players will want to establish themselves for next season and prove to the manager that they are worth keeping around. These dead rubber situations, you've got to look at them very carefully and say, right, what's happened to Brentford this season? Mid-table, haven't really, I think they're mid-table, aren't they? Or just below mid-table. They haven't had a blistering season, but they can make improvements. And obviously they'll be looking to bring new players in. Players will want to perform. And I think we've got to just be aware of that. And if we don't play well on Sunday, Brentford have got more than Man United have to hurt us.
Brentford on 39 points and in 16th. And
they've had a pretty disappointing season, yeah.
Yeah, they're very lucky that the 4 teams underneath them are all in sort of 20-ish point ranges. Because in another season, they'd have been squeaky bum time, but they've done all right with 39, to be fair. And do you know what pains me even more? What really frustrates the hell out of me? This is actually just enraged me, this stat. Brentford are on a -7 goal difference. Man United are on -3. There's only 5 goal difference between 16th Brentford and what Man United are on. They are a poor team, and everybody is terrified of that badge and drops points. They shouldn't be where they are in the table. It's a travesty. I've never seen anybody get so many points with such a woeful goal difference. We've scored like nearly 30 goals more than them in the league. It's ridiculous.
It is. But we've also let a lot of goals in since Nick Pope was injured, of course. Peter says, grinds my gears after every bad performance when Eddie always says that's not like us. The fact is, that is us now. These performances are happening all the time. Yeah, and I think Eddie identified, Billy, quite a few times in his press conferences of weeks gone by that he has identified that the away form hasn't been good enough. So I get where Peter's coming from with that comment, because you look at it and say, well, it's not like us, but we've lost 11 away games this season. So it is.
I think he got a little bit unfortunate because he found a remedy to that when he played Burnley, didn't he? He went with a kind of 3-5-2. It was a 4-4-2, really, but ended up as a 3-5-2 with us in possession. And because Wilson wasn't fit to play or was too ill to play, he couldn't do it again. I think he would have gone that way last night had Wilson have been fit. I really do. And
well, incidentally, Billy, Callum didn't turn up for that online event again today.
Well, he's ill, isn't he?
Well,
you can't turn up for a game of football. He's not going to turn up.
There is a lot more rumours kicking around that he's had a falling out. But
well, there always is.
Of course there is. And but I guess we'll never know. He is expected to play against Brentford, of course. But I guess we'll see what Eddie says in his press conference.
Well, it'll be a farewell game. So
yeah, I think
I love Callum Wilson, but he's let us down. So
yeah,
it's too often now. I absolutely love Callum, but it's the arse end of the squad isn't good enough to even play. So we can't have people just constantly on a sickie. I saw something on Twitter today, and I completely agree. If this was any other job, you'd be on a performance review. Like not good. It's not good enough. It's absolutely not good enough.
FX Pro says, stop sticking up for Trippier. He's cost us 3 to 4 games this season. Tino has to be first choice next year. I agree. I think Trippier's on the wrong end now. I think maybe that it's took him so long to recover from this injury is just because of his age. It's what it's like as you get older. The injuries start taking longer to. I mean, we still don't know generally what the injury was with Trippier, but a lot of people are maybe making assumptions that stuff is still going on behind the scenes with Kieran Trippier, that he just doesn't look right, mentally either. I don't know. We can't comment on that because we will never know. Dr. House, thank you for 14 months of membership. Gutted about the Man United result. We should have had a penalty, but we have not been great defensively without Sharon Botman. Well, I mean, a funny fit, Sharon Botman. We've been outstanding in defence, but unfortunately, Botman looked dodgy when he came back, of course, remember.
He was injured, wasn't he? He was injured.
Yeah, he was still injured. Of course he was.
Sharon and Bourne were okay together. Yeah, Sharon and Bourne were quite solid, weren't they? With Livramento and Hall.
A lot better.
That was a solid back four, but of course, Cher was injured, not deemed fit enough to start the game, and Livramento's out for the rest of the season. So we've got to have to play Trippier on Sunday.
I mean, Southern Geordie, you're pretty confident about that. But, if there's no European football, and I've seen a comment come through before, the only person that knows how Bruno is feeling or what he wants to do is Bruno, right? It's not up to Newcastle United. It's not up to the fans. It's not up to anyone else. It's up to Bruno. And if Bruno feels that he has to go somewhere else to be successful, Can we blame him?
Well, firstly, someone's got to trigger the release clause. If no one triggers the release clause,
Absolutely,
it stays.
yeah. Yeah, and I think Bruno's aware of that. Of course, I don't think Bruno will be bothered if he'll not be gutted if he has to stay at Newcastle United. He won't. He'll be very happy about that.
But if he wants to go, his agent will be kind of ringing up.
Oh, he'll be on the phone to everybody, won't he? Absolutely. We know how it works. Anthony says, Alex, when have unicorns ever been once in a generation? They aren't real, mate. Get your point, though.
You are correct. I apologise.
Foxy says it's nothing to do with poor mentality for big games. We have lost games that would be considered an easier game this season. Forest twice versus Luton. No wins against Everton, etc. Just a lack of consistency overall.
That is the first time I've ever disagreed with Foxy. I think it is down to mentality as well. It's a bit of both.
Well, you could even say that mentality is the reason why we didn't get wins over these teams, because maybe our mentality was that we just turn up and beat them because of where they were in the league. So we could put that down to mentality.
All of those games that he's mentioned there is against teams that wanted the game more than us.
Which is mental. Like the first Luton game,
including last night.
They ran us off the pitch first to every, and that was just before we got. Well, we were a little bit stretched, but that was a little bit before it was completely, devastating to the squad. And they were first to every single second ball. Yep. They were better than us all over the pitch, and it was to do with just work rate. It was how Burnley used to play back in the day, that they would just run their socks off and be physical.
And we made Casemiro look like prime Maldini last night. And you know what it is? It just... That annoys me, because Casemiro's taken an absolute hammering from even Manchester United fans because he's been so bad lately. And then, obviously,
do you know what it was? We needed the first goal. Yeah. We needed to be careful and not be stupid and focused, and we needed the first goal, because then they have to be expansive, and then there's loads of space. They're all slow. We had to score first. We had to be focused, and we didn't do it. We did create enough chances over the 90 to win it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the defending for the first goal was just rank. How we can leave them Manchester United players standing on their own in the penalty area is unforgivable. Player, thank you for your super chat. I could have saved the third goal last night, man. Well, I mean, it wasn't.
He's conceded how many of that?
Yeah, the more I see it, the more I'm like, Jesus. I mean,
it's the same goal. He's conceded that about 8 times. Exactly the same goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Just double check, make sure we got all the super chats covered. Yes, we have. Right, we're going to go on to the player ratings, because I think, we're going to speak about individual players quite a bit during this segment. So do let us know in the chat if you agree with us. If you don't agree, then what I'd like to know is why and what you would have done, or what you would have given the player and what reason for that. But we will have a look at the poll first before we do this. And then, of course, we'll put the man of the match poll up as well. Right. Is Eddie the man to take us forward? Do you want to guess a percentage who said yes?
78. Yes.
15.
45. Said yes.
You put 3 options, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but it's interesting to know who's still on the fence. I'd rather put the 3 options and just say yes or no. No was 26%, and on the fence are 29. So that is on the fence has certainly gone up, and no's have gone up a few times since we last had that poll. So that's very interesting. Is that a sign that he's maybe losing a little bit of support? I don't know.
Well, if we beat Brentford 3-0 and you do that poll, it's going to be completely different. I feel like people vote very emotionally after a defeat. But
well, possibly if we did it yesterday, I think that's why we do them a day later.
Higher,
yeah, because we let the dust settle a little bit. I mean, it hasn't really settled today, to be honest. But there you go. Right, it is now time for to put the man of the match poll up. Obviously, we'll give a player each, and then we'll do a joint one together for you guys to vote on. Billy.
Lewis Hall.
Lewis Hall. I'm going for Anthony Gordon.
Starr gets a short straw.
Well, Bruno was okay.
Okay, we'll put Bruno on there.
Considering he was basically playing for 2
on his own, yeah.
And who was the 4th one that we're going to club together?
I don't think anybody else deserves it.
I don't think anyone else deserves it.
Possibly Dan Burn was good. unlucky not to have scored because of the goal line clearance. I
Yeah.
don't think he did much wrong.
I thought he was okay, Dan Burn.
Yeah.
2 out of 6 aerial duels, and the 2 he
Yeah,
did went straight to their players.
Billy hit the stats
2 out
last
of
night,
7.
Alex.
2 out of 7 now, Billy. They've changed it.
And the 2 he didn't win went straight to Man United players, so you might as well have lost.
How is he? Who did he lose them to? Scott McTominay?
Yeah, I think.
He's got Bruno Fernandes up front. He ain't losing to.
No, McTominay beat him in the air a couple of times. I think Diallo beat him in the air once.
Diallo beat him once. Yeah, that was.
Oh. To be fair, McTominay was not that bad last night.
But this is the point. We make Man United players look so much better than they actually
Scott
are.
McTominay always looks okay and bails them out.
Well,
but it's interesting that he's suddenly playing as a forward, and he's been playing in the wrong position his whole career, seemingly.
And Mbappe played well for them. That is a storming game for me.
And that says it all for me. But that says it all for me. Peter says, I bet that Mark Goldbridge is gloating after last night. Well, he actually said it was a penalty, to be fair to him.
He did.
And he did go on a rant about VAR being terrible again. So, let's be fair. Obviously, we celebrate a Man United win, but he did say we should have had a penalty.
Can I just mention something? Do you remember when everybody was saying no to McTominay a couple of years ago, when we were looking at the idea of bringing him in?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Over the top of Longstaff, and everybody said no. I bet a lot of people would be that's poll worthy. I bet people would bring in Scott McTominay over Longstaff now.
Oh, definitely.
Well, maybe we'd put that as a poll tomorrow during our preview. We shall see. So are we going with a fourth player, guys? I mean,
Joe Linton did okay when he came on.
I mean, Dan Burn or Joe Linton, either or.
Well, Dan Burn played the full match, so we'll go to Dan Burner. I don't think he's going to get many votes, but we have to put 4 on. That's the rules. So there it goes. The poll is up, guys. Viewers man of the match: Lewis Hall, Anthony Gordon, Bruno, or Dan Burn. Well, we'll see. But now let's move into the fast and furiousness of the player ratings. Of course, this should be very interesting. We start off with Dubravka. Alex.
Well. What did I say like 5 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? When we were still winning, by the way. I said this when we were still winning, where everybody was happy. I said, Dubravka is awful. He's going to cost us points. He's going to cost us games. He was getting away with it in games that we were winning. He is absolutely done. He needs to go. He's just done. He's done. I wanted Karius playing when Pope was out, and now I want Pope back. Pope should have played the last 2 games. Should have played the Brighton game, in my opinion. I'm just so done with Martin Dubravka. It's a 1. It's, again, one of his worst performances. And surprisingly, he actually did a couple of sweeping actions rather well, which I've never seen him do before. Out of the blue, flew out of his box and cleared it.
Yeah.
Where's that been for the last 4 months, Martin? Where's that been?
I've gone for it.
Bizarre.
It's mind-boggling, I know. I've gone for it too. Many of the same reasons. I think that that cross that he punched was just dreadful. The save he made, I mean, I don't know what the hell he was doing, pushing it back where he did. He just doesn't fill me with any inspiration. I think he should have definitely saved the 3rd goal. I mean, Mainu's shot was an absolute. Sorry, Ahmad's shot was an absolute bullet. The first goal, well, I mean, should he have come off his line, made himself big? Did he have time to do that? I don't know. But either way, he gets a 2 from me. Billy?
I'm not giving him a mark. 0 for me. Rather than give our defence confidence, gives the opponent's forward line confidence.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund scuffed his shot along the ground. He could have threw his cap on it and managed not to save it. So no points for me. Absolute travesty of a goalkeeper. His
position is just terrible, isn't it? It really is. Right, we'll move to right back now. And Kieran Trippier. 3. I thought he's dreadful. And what pissed me off yesterday was in the first half, he was taking all of the set pieces. Now, that did change in the second half. That's where, somebody's made a decision to do that and put Anthony Gordon back on them. And we looked a little bit better. But the corners were dreadful. His free kicks were dreadful. His defending was dreadful. He should have been alert to the offside for the first. I do not know what he was doing for the first goal, looking along the line. Then he was beaten by Garnacho and just seemed to stop running. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I've gone with a 3. Billy?
Yeah, for me, he's had one of those seasons when he's either been fantastic or the exact opposite of that. And that's like another one of those where he was very poor. But a lot of that's down to fitness. I don't think he's fit enough to start the game, but he did after such a long layoff and having 90 seconds of football. It made no sense that he played, but I guess he had to, as Stato said. He could have played Kraft and Share at centre back, but he didn't. He went with Trippier. Yeah, it's supposed to inspire leadership. There was no leadership from Trippier last night because he certainly wasn't doing it by example. I'll give him a 3 as well.
Okay, Alex?
Yeah, 3's fair. I mean, 4 accurate crosses, 2 key passes, but a lot went awry. The duels weren't. He won 1 duel all game. He wasn't fit. I do feel a little bit bad for him because I think when he's not rusty, of course he can do considerably better than that. He was so rusty, but I can't give him any higher than a 3 because I don't care how much of a creator you're being tasked with being. Your job as a defender is to defend first and foremost, and keeping your line is literally like one of the most important things at this level, especially when you've got set pieces and things and they're camped around your 18-yard line and just it's the line. It's not good enough. I'd rather he did 4 fewer crosses but keep the line straight because it's so important.
Well, Captain Fish says when he gave up on Garnacho, I actually saw him make a painful face. This was brought up during Matchday Live as well. Maybe something cracked. I honestly think that he turned around and maybe thought to himself, I shouldn't be on the pitch here. You know, that's maybe what he was grimacing at, thinking, oh shit, you know, I can't do anything with this pace right now. I can't, you know, and more frustration than pain, maybe. I don't know. But
I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt because he can do a lot better than that.
But to leave them all on side when he was just standing there, just I don't know.
There's no excuse for that because he's looking right along the line. I mean, we dig it. Listen,
did he think there was someone behind him? Or I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but we have a go at Miggy for it the other day. We had a go for Miggy.
Well, if it's the right back stats, there shouldn't be anyone behind him anyway, should there? You know.
Well, no.
Anyway, let's move across to Lewis Hall. Alex.
Lewis Hall gets an 8 for me. I can't give him any higher than that because we didn't win the game. He's only credited with 1 out of 5 ground duels, and I definitely can remember at least a
lot more than that. Yeah, because
he won one higher up the pitch, and he lost the ball in our box.
Yep,
but got it back, which should count as a 1 duel, but apparently it's not gone down as a duel. But yeah, fantastic. Scored the goal. You can see his technical level. You know, he's one of those players where you can use adjectives to describe him. Silky smooth. He's got it. He's got the technical level. You can see him. He's not just a fullback. He's got. You can see why he's played in midfield before as well. He's just got extra quality. And he contributed all over the pitch. I mean, he's 18 years old, and he played better with his head up more so than some of our leadership group. Which hats off to him. So yeah, he gets an 8 from me because he was fine. He's not the reason we lost. Really careful with the ball. 5 long balls, by the way, 5 accurate long balls, which is more than Trippier managed. And he was 87% passing accuracy. Had a pop at a couple of set pieces, 2 key passes.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't frightened to shoot, was he? I'm giving him a 9. I would have gone for an 8, but I've gone for a 9 simply because of the goal as well. Absolutely wonderful finish on the edge of the box. And of course, he's renowned for scoring at Old Trafford now. You know, so 2 appearances, 2 goals at Old Trafford. I just think we're seeing the very best of Hall, and the fact that he's going to get better really excites me as to our fullback, left fullback for years and years to come.
He needs to dye his hair though.
Maybe
because I can't tell the difference between him and Gordon sometimes.
No, it's frustrating. Yeah, well, try commentating when Anderson, Gordon, and Lewis Hall are all playing in a triangle. It's bloody impossible. You know, from the camera angle, they all look the bloody same. I'm looking at the colour of the boots now to know who the player is.
Well, I've mistaken John Joe Shelby for Joe Linton before, so
yes, we'll not go into that.
I remember that. That was mental.
That was an absolute corker. Billy Lewis Hall.
Yeah, I think 9's fair. It's just our luck that Ten Hag decides to plonk Ahmad in, who's a million times better than Ante will ever be. And he had a good battle, them two, to be fair, Ahmad and Lewis Hall. Yeah. I don't think, although they both scored, and Ahmad scored, of course, I don't think Lewis Hall came out of it the worst for it, to be honest. I think he had a really good battle. Yeah. 2 really good young players playing a really good game of football. So I think 9's fair. Yeah, it's that left foot. They had a better English defensive left foot in the
superb. Just superb, isn't he? Right, centre backs now. We'll start with Dan Burn. Billy.
Yeah, I think the fact he didn't have the captain's armband on him kind of went back to normal again. He was solid enough. He didn't make any real ricks, but to kind of lose 5 of his 7 bloody aerial duels when he's 6'7", 7'8", 6'8", unforgivable for me.
Well, you actually called him 8 foot and 25 inches yesterday.
Whatever he is, yeah, it's ridiculous that he's losing aerial battles, but he did. He lost 5 out of the 7.
Yeah,
he just didn't seem that player that he was against Brighton, Burnley, and all the games he was captain for. Whether they took the captain's armband as made him sure, I don't know. But he no leadership from him last night. I'll give him a 6. I don't think he was made real ricks as such, but not as solid or as inspiring as he has been recently.
Yeah, I've gone with a 6 as well for exactly the same reasons. Just steady away. The aerial duel thing is a disappointment, given that I think, Billy, you've noticed this sometimes. Dan Burn, for his size, is not the best header of a football. I mean, he's done a lot better lately with clearances and things like that, but certainly some of his headers, you kind of look and think, geez. However, he was steady away again last night, so a 6. Alex?
Yeah, I think a 6 is fair. I've got extra credit for him, but I don't think it gets him a 7. I really liked the fact that he was 90% passing accuracy last night, 2 accurate long balls, and he was part of the sort of triangle on occasion between Bruno, him, and Lewis Hall that were getting pressed really high up. And he kept his composure, which normally he fumbles it. I say normal. Okay, that's really harsh. Scratch that. Sometimes he fumbles it because he's not quick enough. He's not technical enough, and he can lose the ball in those high-pressure situations. He didn't. Yeah. He got great composure. Positioning for one of the goals was a bit suspect in the aerial duels against McTominay. I agree with Billy. I appreciate Scott McTominay is also a monster, but Dan, mate, you're 6 foot lots. You can't lose aerial duels. You just can't. You might get the odd one because you're off balance, but losing five in a match.
Yeah,
unless you're against Andre the Giant, he's kind of not really good enough. But I did like. I
don't think Andre the Giant's got a good look about him at the minute, Alex.
Well, no, but I extra credit for the passing and the composure because he's not always had that. It was nice that he gave us that in the game. To be fair.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on to.
He didn't let the third goal in. Dubravka let the third goal in.
Yeah,
let's make that be known.
His defensive work weren't great, though, was it?
It wasn't, but I mean the shot was.
Yeah, it should be safe.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Kraft, Alex.
I mean, he wasn't great, but again, he's massively shoehorned in a position right now, and he's trying his best. I said this, 3 games ago? I said, who was it against? We beat someone, and I went, right, he's done well today. However, he's got to do this for like 3 or 4 more games. He's not going to be perfect. We're going to have to be nice to him. I mean, he was all right. He wasn't, again, it's not his fault Trippier was stood miles off, so he wasn't really the problem. He's not incredible, but he wasn't the main issue, to be honest. Trippier wasn't following his man. There's two or three occasions he didn't follow Garnacho. And he was offside for that. He was playing someone onside. Sorry. I'll go for a 6. I don't think he was too bad.
I'm going for a 5. A couple of times he was caught out of position, but again, similar to Dan Burn, just steady away. I don't think he had made any ricks that caused obviously the goals. Maybe the marking for the first goal. Everybody should be looking at themselves for that. But I'm going with a 5. Billy.
I'll give him a 6. No, just good, solid defensively. I don't think you can blame him for any of the goals. I thought he looked much better at right back than Trippier did also. So, yeah, I'll give him a 6.
He put in a lovely cross actually about in the second half when he was really under pressure, and we haven't seen crosses like that from Kieran. So I agree. Okay, into midfield now, Bruno. Billy.
Well, it's the same old story, isn't it? Trying to compete with 5 men in on your own. He's never going to do anything, is he? Couldn't fault him for effort. He put a shift in with his effort, but unfortunately, every time I had the ball, there was someone on him, and sometimes he got away from him, sometimes he didn't. He lost the ball more last night, I think, than he has done all season. But that wasn't down to him. That was down to having no support whatsoever to his left or to his right.
Yeah.
Ultimate 6.
Okay. Nick Thornton, thank you for your super chat. Some perspective on last night's game. 7 of our starting 11 won't be starting next season. Well, I hope not. Alex, Bruno.
I'll give him a 7. I thought he was really good, apart from obviously losing the ball. He's allowed to lose the ball a few times a game. You go into, he's that player that's trying to, well, his job is to not lose the ball, but of course you're going to sometimes. But it was a few too many times. It was 3 or 4 more times than we'd like, really, in that sort of game. But everything else was absolutely on point. And again, I hate it. I hate watching when we're building up outside their box and Bruno's got the ball, spraying it around. We lose the ball. There's a counter attack. All I can see is the defenders and Bruno in the picture. Where is everyone else? I hate it because Bruno's not that fast at all. It's always him that is busting a gut to get back. Where is Sean? Where is Elliot Anderson? Elliot Anderson does deserve a little bit of criticism. He gets back a lot of the time, but there was such a disparity, and Bruno is the guy that's back, and he's not even that fast. So it really is frustrating. But last night, Bruno did everything he was meant to do. He did his job. 10 out of 12 ground duels, really solid. 4 tackles. He won us 4 free kicks. He had a bunch of shots as well, a couple of accurate long balls. He metronomed it. He kept us ticking over nicely. He was fine. He was put to shame by the man that we'll mark in a minute, and we'll go through some of it because it was.
Well, I've gone for a 7 for Bruno as well. Again, just reiterating the points that you guys have made about that. Posh Linda, thank you for your super chat. No comment there, but thank you very much. That's your first super chat on the show, so thank you very much to Posh Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Right, we'll move on to Elliot Anderson. I'm going to give Elliot a 3. I thought he was just dreadful yesterday. Nowhere near the Elliot Anderson that we've seen recently. I don't know whether that was his fault or what. I don't know, but he just wasn't at the races for me yesterday. I'm not going to dwell on that, though, because I'm very excited about the future that Elliot Anderson has. Billy?
Yeah, it just seemed the occasion was too much for him, didn't he? Again, did a lot of running around, but to little avail for me.
Yeah.
We want to see him do more. We want to see him use his creativity, and he didn't last night. I'll give him a 4.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Difficult game for him. I think we've hyped him up a bit, which is a problem. Everybody's expecting him to come in and to be able to do sort of Joe Linton things, plus the Geordie Maradona, and he's 21. He's still learning. He's not got that many Premier League minutes. He's going to have lots of games like this, and he's going to have lots of good games. He's going to be an important squad player because he's homegrown, trained at club. We need him for the European quota. We can sacrifice certain players, like maybe Sean, possibly. We can't let go of Elliot Anderson unless somebody loses their mind and bids 30 million for him. Then fine, you let him go. But we should keep him. He's 21. He's useful. He's versatile as well. But it wasn't a very good day at the office.
And people are saying about him tracking Manu for the first goal. Listen, if they're playing offside and one player isn't, that's not Ali Anderson's fault or Bruno's fault. It's Kieran.
We were allowing the shot defensively.
Yeah, it's Trippier's fault. If he'd come out on the line,
of course it was.
Offside, and that'd have been the end of it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Sean Longstaff. Alex.
A 1. No, I'm gonna go with what Billy did. I'm gonna give him a 0, same as what he gave Dubravka. He gets a 0. Joe Linton should have been on a half time for me. For either, I mean, the problem is I would have taken both.
Could have been Anderson or Longstaff.
They were awful. Yeah. They were all. I would have gone to a 4-4-2 and taken both of them off. Brought Barnes and Joe Linton on a half time, or Miggy, gone to a 4-4-2, or gone to something else. Because Sean, do you know how many duels Sean won that game?
None.
0 duels. He played 77 minutes. I could win a duel by accidentally falling into somebody at some point in a 90-minute game.
It's true.
We could all stumble in and.
I remember the one against Amrabat where he literally shit out of it.
It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And his shot on goal was a 0.49 XG. So fine. Scoring that is a flip of the coin. It's funny how the flip of the coin always goes against Sean, isn't it? He scored a couple of solid goals recently, but we don't. I say we don't always care about goals. Of course, we care about goals because we need to win matches. But goals will come if we're playing better as a team, as a unit. The goals will come anyway. So he's just a detriment to the team on days like that. Sometimes he ticks over and wins enough for it not to be a problem.
Yeah,
we were so handicapped. We played with one hand behind our back. We needed someone else. I'd have preferred Miggy playing in midfield yesterday compared to Sean, and Miggy got no idea how to play in midfield.
I'm giving him a 1, and I'm only giving him a 1 because he put a beautiful cross in the first half, which for me it was begging to be tapped in. Had a striker decided that he was going to make a run, but nobody else got there, and it was annoying. But a 1 for me, and he's just not having a good time, is he, Billy?
Just looking down the table for the Man U fans, still below us, by the way. Don't forget that. There's lots of them in the chat for some reason. Let's do the positive things about Sean first. Well, I've done them. He does run into space really well. He makes those late runs, but unfortunately, when he gets there, he's got the finishing ability of a one-legged sloth. So there's no point in getting there. Unless it's in the box, he can just get a foot on it and goes in. That's it. He's never going to make one of those runs and score from it. Because as soon as he sees a goalkeeper, and I'll give the goalkeeper credit last night. Longstaff had all the time in the world to place it wherever he wanted to. Yeah, I'll give him 1 as well.
Just dreadful finish.
Yeah.
Andy C83, thank you very much for your super chat. Great match review, lads. Paul, you bang on with the Eddie comments today. I'm right behind him as our manager, but he's not immune to criticism. And that's all it is. It's just because you criticize him, it doesn't mean you want him sacked. Some people do. Fair enough. That's their opinion. But just because you criticize him, it doesn't mean you want him sacked. But he's got to start being better in certain circumstances. Right, we'll move to the front three now. Jacob Murphy, Billy.
Frustrating performance because with a right-footed left back in front of him, he should have gone round him all night, and he didn't.
Yeah.
One great cross, of course, the assist.
Yeah.
Apart from that, really frustrating performance for me from Murphy. I'll give him a 4.
Okay, I'm giving him a 5, but similar to Billy. I mean, look, there was once in the first half he got past Dallo, and then he stopped. He just, for some reason, just stopped running at him, and then went backwards. And then obviously the cross for the goal was sublime. But I do think that Jacob Murphy is more suited to Callum Wilson playing. I really do, because I said this, a few times now, that when Callum's on the pitch, Jacob Murphy fires that ball in. He's a great crosser of the ball, but when Isak's there himself, it's not the same, because Isak's not the same sort of player as Callum Wilson. So 5 for me, Alex.
I'm going to give him a 6. He got an assist, and that needs to be credited. It's a goals business. He contributed to getting that goal. He made it. It was, and he was okay. 4 out of 6 ground duels. He won us 3 free kicks. He was frustrating at times. Billy was right. I think he should have gone. He should have gone on the outside of Dallo far more often. There were a lot of things he could have done. A few passes that a little bit overhit, underhit. However, he's not the reason we lost that game. He did his job. He helped to get a goal at the right end of the pitch. It's not his fault that. Well, the header for the funny goal though from the corner.
That was terrible.
Bit dodgy. Shouldn't have done that.
Horrendous.
But again, he did his job with trying to get us a goal. I think it was fine. Give him 50 minutes to an hour and then bring Barnes or Miggy on. It's a fair shout.
Yeah.
Maybe some in-game management to try and get Murphy to do some other things. I don't think I've ever heard. Well, again, it's down to the cameras, so it's difficult to know. But I always hear him shouting, Anthony, move here, do this, pick him, do that. I've never seen him shout Jacob. I've never seen him shout and give instructions to Jacob Murphy, generally on that right wing. I can see him always, I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I just feel like some in-game management of Murphy could have helped.
Yeah.
But I'll give him a 6 because he got an assist, which is important.
Fair enough. Fahad, thank you very much for your super chat. Disappointed we're too inconsistent. In my opinion, Eddie has done his job. Now we need a more tactical manager who knows how to win trophies. Eddie is stubborn, won't even bench Dubes for such performance. I'm done with him. Well, that's your opinion, of course, Fahad. Right, let's go to the other side. Anthony Gordon. I'm going to give Gordon a 9. I thought he was, him and Lewis Hall were the standout players for us yesterday, as far as I'm concerned. every time he got the ball, he's running. He's trying to create something all the time. And there's just sometimes that some of the players around him weren't up to scratch. He was trying to link up well with Elliot Anderson again yesterday, but Elliot was off his game, completely off his game. He should have been given the penalty, of course. He took a nasty... I don't know whether he's limping in the second half because he took another knock on that ankle.
He did, yeah.
But we thought he was going to have to come off, but he continued on and ran it off. But I just think this guy's a superstar. I really do. And better players around him, he's going to get even better. So a 9 for me. Alex?
Yeah, I think a 9's fair. I can't give him a 10. I'll give him a 9. We should have had a penalty, and he got a goal. So again, similarly to what I said about Jacob, is more applicable here to Anthony Gordon. He did everything he's employed to do.
Yeah,
he should have got us a pen, which is not his fault. It was a bad call from the referee, and he scored a goal. He did everything he was meant to do. He can't carry the game for us. If they've scored 3 because the defence are shocking, like what was Gordon meant to do? He was fantastic in duels, in build up, in effort, in set pieces, and he scored. And he got a pen. He should have got a pen.
Yep.
It's difficult to mark him down on anything really. I don't know why I can't give him a 10 because I can't really think of anything he did wrong.
We didn't win the game. I mean, 10s are a bit stretchy when we don't win, of course.
Yeah, maybe that's the only thing I can mark him down for, which feels harsh. Like because what did he realistically do wrong? I mean, his duels were well in. His crosses, long balls, 5 key passes in the game, 3 completed dribbles. He was really solid. I can see why he was.
He says Gordon was in no man's land for Man United's second goal. Ahmad completely free from the corner. His overall game was good, though. Interesting. Somebody should have been out there marking him. I mean, it was pretty drastic that he's standing there all by himself.
Yeah, but I don't believe anyone thought that Jacob Murphy was going to do a flick header in the box. And
no, that's very true. Yeah,
and it was a wonderful shot, wasn't it? Let's be honest. But yeah,
it was.
You don't save them.
Billy, have you marked?
No, I haven't. No. Firstly, I want to say that the referee gave him absolutely diddly squat protection last night. He got the living shit kicked out of him from minute 1 to the end of the game. Wan-Bissaka, he had him on toast. Wan-Bissaka's their best defender in that side, no doubt about that. And Gordon had him on toast. And when he cut inside, he had Casemiro on toast. He had a fantastic game. Got the living shit kicked out of him. You've got to give him a 9 for that alone. We can't give him a 10 because we didn't win the game. But yeah, I thought it was outstanding. Really was.
Okay. Right. Alexander Isak. This is a toughie. Billy.
Well, he's just not right, was he? He just isn't. I am frustrated with him because he never goes near post when Jacob Murphy's delivering near post crosses and he goes and stands at the far post, much like Chris Wood used to. But you've got to go near. Callum Wilson goes near post. He's a probably more natural centre forward than Alexander Isak is. But taking all the illness thing into account as well, there's no way on God's earth I'm a back catch up with him if he's 100% fit. Absolutely no chance on God's earth. I'll give allowances for his illness. I'll give him 4.
Yeah, I've gone with a 4 as well for exactly the same reason. Alex?
I'm going to go for a 5. I'll go a little bit more. Off the woodwork, really tidy in possession. Again, 21 out of 23 passes, which is 91%. I like that he was a bit more careful with the ball because he can be a bit silly with it sometimes. He was a bit better physically. Considering he's ill, I think he was unlucky not to have scored. But yeah, I can't go any higher than a 5.
Okay.
But he was okay.
Right. When did the subs come on?
60 minutes.
They came on.
60. It was Joe Linton, Miggy. Was it all 3? Share as well?
Nearly. It was a minute later, but yeah.
When did Barnes come on?
77 for Sean.
Right.
Okay.
So Joe Linton, Miggy and Share.
Okay, Joe Linton did okay. I think he was all right. I'm going to give Joe a 7. Alex?
I'm going to give Show.
Show Linton.
Who am I trying to say?
Show
Let's try that
Linton.
again.
Yeah.
Joe Linton. Joe Linton. Maybe that's why I went that way. I was
Joelinton.
trying to say it in Brazilian. It's because I've been to Portugal. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him an 8.
Okay.
Because he played 28 minutes and he won 7 duels, which was 7 more than Sean.
That's outrageous, isn't it? I mean, that just says it all.
He contested everything.
Yeah, that really
He
just
contested
does
11
say,
duels.
it just says it all, doesn't it? It really does. It's
In 28
unbelievable.
minutes, he contested 11 duels and won 7 of them. He got us 2 free kicks. He created a big chance, got a key pass, hit the woodwork. He tried 3 shots. He tried to get us back in that game.
Yeah.
He was trying to drive us forward. He didn't want to lose that game. We need another winner on the pitch because that boy's a winner. He wants to win. He wants to dominate. Like, he loves it. I saw a clip last week. Actually, it was while I was away. I saw a clip of his goal against AC Milan, and you can see his mentality. He scored and he ran. He basically just stood there and went, "I've done it. That's spot on." And he ran straight to Eddie Howe to thank him for obviously helping working with him and trying to improve him as a player. He wants to just be better, winning. We need him back on the pitch, not just for his tenacity, but for his winning mentality as well.
Yeah. Billy?
Well, he should have started the game. No doubt about it. And I think if he starts the game, we win it. I think if we have an hour Joe Linton, we win that game. We don't get overrun in midfield and we win the game. It's as simple and straightforward for me as that. It's a poor selection from the manager. He came on and he did what we expect him to do. He was everywhere, winning challenges, not accepting second best. And unfortunately, the 2 players that were on there that started the game did accept second best. And yeah, I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Miggy now. Alex?
I'll give him a 1. Right, so he was on for half an hour.
Yeah.
Well, 28 minutes plus 5 minutes of added time. So if I'm gonna dig him out, I'm gonna be precise. 33 minutes he was on the pitch. He touched the ball 9 times. We're chasing the game, and so the attacking, energetic winger that we bring on touches the ball 9 times. 9 times. Is that some of the team's fault for not passing to him? Is it because we were a bit left side dominant with Lewis Hall trying to go forward? Possibly, but he didn't have any shots. He touched the ball 9 times. It's not enough.
Yeah.
He gets on as an attacking player.
Yeah.
Do more. Do more.
Billy?
I didn't want to see him play again after the Brighton game, and he brought him on and he ran around. I think the saying that we're looking for is all farts and no shit, basically. The cross to the back post that he didn't make an effort to get to, and if he hadn't done it, he'd have scored because had a tap in. Yeah, just running around like a lunatic doesn't work for me anymore. Yeah.
Same way. I've gone for a 1. I thought he was just dreadful, but we look, we can't say any more on that. Fabian Schär was steady away when he came on, guys. I mean, are we all just going to vote on Schär together?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I thought he wanted more. He wanted it. He wasn't accepting the second best. Put a few challenges in. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, 7 for me.
I'll give him a 5. I didn't like that he had a shot once that was well over, and he lined up for a second one. We needed to work the opportunity and try and get a goal. I get it. We're chasing the game, but Fabian, stop shooting from 35 yards twice a game, every single game. Work the opportunity. That pissed me off. I'm sorry, 5.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, but if he's running through Alex and he sees Miggy on the outside of him, I'd rather shoot than give it to Miggy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Elliot, Harvey Barnes was the final one.
Well, what was the phrase you used, Billy?
Just all fart and no shit. And lots of shit with him because he did absolutely piss all again. Didn't make a difference. He's come onto the pitch to make a difference, did absolutely nothing. Got the ball, 1 step to the right, played it square. Waste of money. I'm saying it now.
Can I just point something out? He had 13 touches. He had 4 more touches of the ball than Miggy, and he came on for 13 minutes plus added time.
But where did he go with it? Fucking backwards or side?
I mean, do you want to give him a vote, Billy? A mark?
I'll give him a 2.
I'm giving him a 5. I thought he looked a bit livelier, but didn't create anything. But 5 for me. Alex?
I'll give him a 5 purely because the data says he won all of his duels and he completed 2 crosses, which was useful in the game state. So
he doesn't make a difference when we need him to. That's the whole point of it.
I mean, I'm just going to drop a bomb because it's funny. We shouldn't have sold Maxi. I don't think Barnes has enough. He scores goals, when we're at home and we're playing well.
And we're 5 up. Yeah, 4 up.
I want somebody who can come on and be completely different. It doesn't have to be Maxi. Let's put that to one side. I want us to sign a maverick. We need a maverick. We don't have anybody that we can just let off the lead and go and do chaos things.
Do something different.
We don't have anybody like that. We need somebody like that because we've got far too many regimented
I do agree
players.
that I think 40 million quid for him is a little excessive, to be fair. Well, obviously.
Well, not Maxi, guys, but we need a maverick. We need somebody not cookie cutter. We need somebody unpredictable.
I've seen Ashley Barnes. I've seen fucking Alan Barnes.
Oh, Billy.
I honestly think the jury's still out on Harvey Barnes. I appreciate his goal return.
Oh, it is. Absolutely, it is. 100%.
I'm sorry. I don't want somebody that's gonna get stat padded by scoring 10 to 15 goals over a dozen games at home when it's better when everyone's fit. Sorry, I don't think that's good enough. I'm still not 100% convinced by Barnes in terms of the total output of this team for the price tag. Yeah. 40 million.
Yeah. Eze, Elise, they're out there. They're out there, guys. Right. Let's move on to the manager. This should be interesting. Eddie Howe. I'll start this off. I'm going to give Eddie a 3. I thought his team selection was wrong. I think he's got to be more ruthless. I was disappointed with the team lineup. I was disappointed he didn't make any changes at half-time when it should have been made, when it was clear where the problem was. We were being overrun in midfield because we didn't have Joe Linton on the pitch. He should have put him on at half-time. He didn't, and it wasn't a great performance. And quite frankly, I'm still behind Eddie, but he's got to get better in these circumstances. He's got to be ruthless, cutthroat with these players and say, look, you're not doing it. It's time to make a change. You would not find the top elite managers like Pep or Fergie or any of these guys. They were not frightened to make ruthless decisions. They are the boss. The players, if they want to sulk, they sulk. But that's not, that's not the problem. Eddie's got to be more ruthless with these guys. So 3 for me. Billy?
Well, his team selection was appallingly wrong. Just the goalkeeper for one. And having players like Joe Linton on your bench makes no sense. And once you saw the midfield being overrun, then you've got to make the change as soon as possible, not wait for an hour. So he waited too long to make the changes, way too long.
Yeah.
And despite all of that, we still should have won the game. But I think Eric Ten Hag kind of outcoached him.
Yeah.
If I'm perfectly honest, I think they did. I think the 5 in the middle of the
park
that last night, dominated the game. And someone as poor tactically, Eric Ten Hag, he's really only got one way of doing it, which is hoof ball and chase it. They had a lot of control in the middle of the park for that, and I'll give Eddie a 2 because he was just got over outcoached, and he didn't perform for me.
Yeah, Alex.
I'm gonna go with a 3 as well. I absolutely love Eddie Howe. I do think he's good enough. I think he learns. I think he lives and breathes the game, and he will keep getting better and better and better. And I believe in him 100%. However, for that game, obviously we don't see what goes on behind closed doors. Nick Pope should have started 100%. The loyalty's got to go out. I mean, look at the top managers. Look at Arteta and Pep. Not frightened of changing a goalkeeper game to game to game. Buying different goalkeepers, having them compete. I'm sick of this whole, because nobody else gets that kind of protection on the pitch in terms of playing position. As a goalkeeper, you've got to mess up before you lose your place. Generally, there's not sort of rotation aspects to that. No, you've got to be more ruthless with a goalkeeper pick. Martin is clearly not good enough. When Dan Burn was having his blips a while ago, there were reasons for it. There were reasons to do with the lack of a sweeper keeper, to do with gaps in midfield, to being exposed. There were things that could explain it tactically. This isn't that case with Martin Dubravka anymore. He can't make that save underneath to his right. He can't do it. He's letting like 7 goals in that position in like 3 months. It's the same goal he concedes. He's got no presence in his box, and his sweeping, despite doing 2 reasonable actions yesterday, has been shocking. Yeah. He can't play the system that we need. He can't play the style that we need. Nobody trusted. Emil Kraft took the ball off him, kicked it out for a corner. Do you remember that? He took the ball off him, kicked it straight out, didn't trust him at all. I'm sorry, but when Emil Kraft doesn't trust your goalkeeper, when Emil Kraft has the confidence to step up and be the proper defender, considering what we were talking about Kraft for 3 years ago, he got it completely wrong. Nick Pope should have started. And if he's not fit enough to play, don't have him on the bench. Have Karius on the bench. Although I don't know where he's gone because he keeps putting Gillespie on the bench sometimes. And I think he got it wrong not playing Joe Linton. At least half time. At a minimum, Joe Linton comes on at half time. At a minimum.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a 3. He didn't deal with in-game goings on very well. And I hate the Martin Dubravka's still playing. I hate it. He should have been gone 4 or 5 matches ago at least. I can't believe he's still in goal.
I agree. Well, there you go, guys. That is it for the match review. Thank you all for taking part in those player ratings, etc. Now, tomorrow isn't TTR Friday. We're doing the match preview for the Brentford game. Of course, it is the final game of the season. So join us at 7 p.m. for that one. Keep your eye on the socials because I'm not sure if Eddie's doing his press conference tomorrow or Saturday morning. So we'll keep an eye on that. If he does his press conference tomorrow, I'll be back with a lunchtime live show to cover what he said in the press conference. So you can join me for that. So keep an eye on all the socials. Chris Lynch, thank you for your super chat. Eddie has now come to his end last night. His selection was poor after what was riding on the game. He failed us. Now, let's have a look who the viewers' man of the match was. Who do you think, guys?
Lewis Hall.
It is Lewis Hall. 77% of the votes for Lewis Hall. 20% for Anthony Gordon, 3 for Bruno, and Dan Burn with 1. But he's still got more. Yeah. He's still got more than what the United Kingdom did in the viewers' poll at the Eurovision.
Quite true.
So congratulations to Dan Burn. But that is it. Apparently Eddie's press conference is tomorrow, so I will be doing a live show around lunchtime. Keep your eye on the socials for the start of that and join me for that if you can. But we'll all be back tomorrow night with the preview for the Brentford game, the final preview of the Premier League season, of course. So don't forget to join us. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, folks. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out some green.